Boom, shakalaka boom. You've tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It starts right now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, Clay Edwards, coming at you live here on the big station, 1039 FM WYAB. Pumping all across them central Mississippi airwaves, as what we like to call it, the 50,000 megawatt flamethrower. Catching purple hair on fire from Flora to Fondren and everywhere else in between. From border to border, from the Mississippi River all the way over there to Meridian. I hit it once, I hit it twice, I hit it again. When I go through Meridian, I had to retweak the words there a little bit to make it radio friendly, but heard there was a big crowd last night at the Afro Man show downtown at Martin's. So, I can't go out on a weeknight. I got to get my beauty sleep so I can come do this and be with you guys on Friday morning. This is my Friday night. Friday mornings are my Friday night. That sounds like a country song. Maybe I can get AI to write that for me. That's a future hit right there. Working on Friday mornings is like going out on Friday nights. Minus the shots, minus the girls, minus the hangovers. They used to be in my world. Anyway, future hit. Don't nobody steal that. Let me get my ASCAP BMI stuff put up there so I can make that money. I needs it more than yous needs it. Good morning to the folks on the live stream. That's the Mazda of Jackson live stream. We're over there. We are on Facebook. We're on X. We're on Rumble. We're on YouTube. We are all over the place. Kick, Twitch, Instagram. All of them. I said I was checking here. I don't see the Facebook logo, but it does appear that we're there. For whatever reason, we seem to be having a problem getting kicked up on Rumble. So we will hit the backup Rumble. Give me 1 second. I know this does not affect people on the radio, but, man, we like to make sure we are everywhere we say we're going to be because, hey, man, we have cultivated audiences on all these different platforms. I want to make sure we get the message to those platforms. Plain and simple, right? Plain and simple. All right, let's dive in this morning. Hey, coming up in hour 2, Shaun Yurtkuran is going to zoom in. And we're going to have Shaun on the show. We don't get to spend a lot of time with Shaun too much anymore. He stays so busy, and he does Lindsay's show with her all the time. But Shaun is starting his own show here at WYAB starting tomorrow at 11 a.m. and every Saturday moving forward. It'll be 1 hour of uninterrupted. That's right, no commercial breaks. Full 1 hour uninterrupted. The Shaun Yurtkuran Show. I don't know if that's what he's calling or if he's calling it both sides of the aisle or kind of what his plan is there. But he's going to tell us all about that, and he's going to be covering the biggest stories of the week. And I think he may kind of weave in and out of some law call type stuff as well. So if you have any law questions, you'll be able to hit him up. No family law. He doesn't do family law. If you need family law, I actually have a friend that works for a family law attorney. I don't mind recommending. If you do family law, and you would like to sponsor the Clay Edwards Show because, hey, we have these conversations a lot on here. I know a lot of lawyers are Democrats, and I know it's hard for y'all to wrap your heads around spending money on a Trump-supporting conservative radio show. But, believe it or not, we get divorced too, and we need attorneys too. As Michael Jordan said, Republicans buy sneakers too. Republicans get divorces too. So don't be so hard-headed in your political ways that you miss out on, I don't know, the largest portion of people in the state of Mississippi that are actually getting the divorces. It ain't like liberals are getting married, so they're not getting divorces. Why would you miss out on the largest demographic of potential customers? It makes no sense to me. If I thought that advertising my products towards a bunch of Democrats would make me more money, guess what I would do? Advertise my product to more Democrats. Actually, as a matter of fact, that's exactly what I do with my social media accounts. My Instagram, overwhelmingly, the followers of my Instagram account hate me. But you know what? I get the most views, the most monetary return on those hate views than any other platform I have. So take your product to the people. Don't expect the people to come to your product. Email clay@wyab.com if you would be interested in advertising as a family law. The show's technically sold out right now. Shout out to everybody who made that a possibility. It's pretty cool. Happens a good bit, but as I always say, we will make room for the right advertiser. And I would like to have a family lawyer on this show. So I will make room for a family lawyer on this show. So clay@wyab.com. If you want to text into the show this morning, the Mazda of Jackson live stream. The Ellis Autoplex text line. I was looking at one thing and saying another. The Ellis Autoplex text line is 769-241-1944. And it's also going to be a bit of a free-for-all Friday as well as a FAFO Friday. So I don't care what we're talking about. We will change the topic if you want to call in. The phone number, 601-879-0002 is the call-in line. Looking forward to hearing from you this morning. Gloves off. Talk about whatever you want. Just keep it clean. That's all I ask. I got a dump button. Got a 5-second delay. Don't say anything that you wouldn't say to your mama. And I know that disqualifies about half of you because you will say anything to your mama, myself included. Hey, shout out to my mom real quick. She has had a lot of really bad luck with a knee surgery or post-op from a knee surgery from a local orthopedic surgeon here who may or may not have Mississippi in their name that does sports medicine, allegedly, of course. And it's been a nightmare a couple of years for my mom, and she potentially almost had her leg amputated if this last surgery hadn't have gone right, if they hadn't have been able to stop the infection. She was very, very upset. We were all praying hard, and I just want to give a shout-out to Dr. Baker and his team for saving my mother at the end of the day, because she had made her mind up that she wasn't getting her leg amputated, infection or no infection. And she had the surgery a couple days ago here locally, and everything came back good, no infection. I don't like putting much of my personal business or my family's personal business out there because people are effing crazy. But I do want to say thank you for those that prayed for my mother, and thank you, God, for seeing through for my mother. She's going to be going home today, and no infections. She's in great spirits, and I think finally, in her early 70s here, she'll be able to kind of get her mobility back to 100% once rehab is complete from this final knee replacement surgery that she should have never been having to have, but some idiot that worked for this sports medicine place that may or may not have Mississippi in the title didn't know that you can't put some type of injection into a fake knee. And it caused an infection and caused my mother to almost lose her leg over the last couple of years. But all that is hopefully, fingers crossed, prayers up in the past. So a shout out to my mom, a shout out to her medical team there. Dr. Baker, he knows who he is. We do love you, and we do appreciate you and your team's hard work. So I just wanted to get that out there. Let's see here. A little, it's just a little Friday house cleaning stuff here. The merch shop, buyfafo.com, buyfafo.com is up and rolling. Don't swing by there right now. Wait till after this commercial break. I'm going to create a special discount for the Clay Edwards Show listeners. And dropping next week, a brand new FAFO shirt that I think is going to become iconic. It's a hat tip to a couple of my all-time favorite designs and logos and people, all rolled into one, very similar to the G.I. Joe theme FAFO that we did originally. Sometimes the best ideas are staring you in the face. And I was wearing a shirt the other day, just like I was wearing the DBAP shirt that said, don't be a P word, it says DBAP. And it was in the G.I. Joe style. And I was wearing that, and I was like, that's it. That's the FAFO shirt idea I've been looking for. And same thing happened the other day. I designed it myself, and I was like, that is it. that is it. And we're gonna reveal that when it's ready to go on sale next week. So stay tuned for that. But I did send it to a few people as a little sneak peek, and I gave them a couple options to choose from. Everybody I sent it to picked the option that I picked and said they loved it. And these are people I trust to tell me the truth because, well, they have a history of being brutally honest with me when I ask them questions. So I think we all really like this. I think it's going to be a home run. And I think we're going to do 2 or 3 shirts, a couple variations. And we're also going to do a Clay Edwards Show shirt that'll be exclusive for our YouTube and Facebook paid subscribers to purchase at cost. I don't want to make a penny on it, but I want to give them an opportunity to purchase an exclusive shirt at cost. So we'll do that as well. All right. It is an FAFO Friday, isn't it? So what do we do on FAFO Fridays? We give out FAFO Championships. I have ran my mouth for the better part of this first segment, so let's do this. Let's come back from the break here. And y'all know how I like to say it. Let me tease it a little bit here for you. Effing white people. Y'all know how this usually ends when I have to do an effing white people. It usually means that some bestiality was involved in this effed around and found out grand championship. We're going to talk about that and more. I've also got a question of the day I'm going to drop on y'all. We're going to have some fun this Friday. We're going to send you home on the weekend from work in a good mood, ready to have fun, ready to enjoy your family. It's a good Friday. It's Easter weekend. Let's enjoy it. Let's put the politics down for the weekend. Let's pick our Bibles up. Let's hang out with our friends, our families. Let's have a good time. If you're going to the Brandon Amphitheater for the big concert tonight, perfect weather, going out to any of the after parties at some of our great sponsors, McBee's, Cypress Point, Beethoven's Boardwalk, wherever. If you're going to do a little pre-gaming, I recommend going by El Potrillo Mexican Grill right there on Highway 80 in front of Cross Gates. Enjoy some great Mexican food before you go. Tell them I said hello. If you're not doing that, maybe we want to do a little tailgating. We'll swing by 042 Wine and Spirits right there next to Sonny's Barbecue as well. Grab a bottle of your favorite wine, bourbon, tequila, gin, vodka, Fireball, Jaeger. Get some of the little airplane bottles of the Mississippi Moonshine, not Mississippi Moonshine, but the Tennessee Moonshine? I can't never remember the name. It's the little moonshine shots that taste so dang good right there on the counter. Get you a few of those. Have a good time. Don't drink and drive. Get you an Uber. If you need a good Uber driver, holler at your boy, and I will hook you up with my buddy Jason. He is a fantastic Uber driver. We have a couple other folks that are big followers of the show that are Uber drivers as well. I don't always mention their names because I don't know if they're working as much, but if you're an Uber driver and you're working tonight, drop me a line in the live chat on the Mazda Jackson live stream, or shoot me a text on the Ellis Autoplex text line with your phone number if you want that given out to people who may need a ride later. And I will gladly give y'all's numbers out so you can directly, riders can get directly in touch with you if you so choose. Text me on the Ellis Autoplex text line at 769-241-1944. I want all of my listeners back here safe and sound Monday morning. How about that? Let's take a break, come back, and let's give out a very embarrassing FAFO championship on this beautiful Friday in Central Mississippi. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back on the Clay Edwards Show. Lakeland Glass and Tint, day one Clay Edwards Show sponsor. Hey, shout out to, is it Jason Mills here? Looks like Jason Mills got not one but two $1.99 super chats sent into the Mazda Jackson live stream this morning. It says, good morning from Clara, Mississippi, up in Wayne County. Man, good morning to you, brother. Thank you for the $4 roughly in super chats, man. I will be using that tonight to drink a cold beer. And I will definitely send a toast up to my boy Jason Mills from Wayne County. If y'all want to tip your boy today, hey, look, I won't be mad. I'm going to go drink a couple cold beers tonight. It can definitely go a little bit goes a long way at those $20 beers out there at the amphitheater. Anyway, I kid. Not really. They are expensive. But appreciate everybody. You don't have to tip if you don't want to. But, hey, I won't turn it down if you do. All right, so let's do an FAFO championship, man. This is the kind of stuff this show was built on. This is the foundational rock that the Clay Edwards Show was built on. It is giving out FAFO awards to idiots. And hey, black people listening this morning, black people, paging all black people that say I only talk about black people. We got a white one here. We got a white one. We got a live one. This is going to bust up y'all's narrative a little bit because we're going to talk about white folks and their strange obsession with raping their dogs here in Mississippi. If you have kids in the car, it's probably already too late, but this is about to get graphic. Well, as graphic as the FCC will allow. Let's go over here to Action News 5 up in North Mississippi. I believe they're out of Memphis, but this happened up in Horn Lake. Let me tell y'all what, y'all better never, any of y'all local nut jobs, you better never, ever get caught doing that around here. I will rename these studios after your FAFO championship, and nobody will ever forget this happened. Anyway, his name's Tristan. Good millennial name. Good, strong millennial name. Tristan. And it's not the traditional way you would spell Tristan. It's Tristan with an A-N, not an E-N, because I grew up with a good E-N. He's a good Gen Xer. But Tristan Pipkin here has been charged with unnatural intercourse. He's actually already been charged and found guilty. But let's listen to the story here.
A Horn Lake man pled guilty to a disturbing crime involving a family pet. Tristan Pipkin is charged with unnatural intercourse after investigators say his then-girlfriend found a video on his phone that showed him having sexual contact with the family dog.
Hard stop. Imagine being the girl that got cheated on, not with her friend, not with her sister, not with a random big booty Becky or an Ashley out at the bar. Not even a Stephanie on a church retreat. The family dog. And, you have to wonder, was he with her after the dog? Did he use protection with the dog? What does this do to a girl's self-esteem? Let's continue.
Police say the girlfriend immediately reported the video, and that led to Pipkin's arrest.
I have another question, or this is more of a comment. What? This wasn't his first time doing this, right? Other dogs, if not this one, have felt his wrath before. What makes me say that? Look, I have never, full disclosure, I've never done this before. But I'm just thinking that if you are comfortable enough to stop and record yourself doing it, you've probably done this before. I don't know. Again, I'm speculating here. You start dating somebody, or you're having a one-nighter with somebody from the bar, whatever the case may be. But let's just get to the point of the first time y'all decide to do it. I'm guessing you don't bust the camera out on the first time. It's like you got a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on. You don't want to freak them out and be like, oh, hey, you mind if I record this? Now, some people do it like secretly, but let's just pretend that that's not the way it's going down. You usually got to work your way into, hey, we should record ourselves doing this. I can't think of anything I would rather watch less, by the way, than myself doing that. I have zero interest in watching my big pale butt back that thing up. I just don't want to do it. Anyway, let's finish. I won't interrupt it again until it's over.
The court has issued a protective order barring him from any contact with the dog.
Oh, I lied. He got a restraining order. Not on the girlfriend. On the dog. You can't be around the dog. You can't be within 100 yards of the dog. Poor thing.
Sentencing will be set at a later date.
You do not want to be the guy in jail for being a pedo. And I'm going to go out on a limb here now and say you do not want to be the guy in jail for violating a dog. Tristan Pipkin, come on down. You're our brand new effed around and found out grand champion. And you nasty too. Just nasty. That's a different kind of effed around. That's like really effed around. With the dog. With the dog. I mean, it would have been more acceptable for her to have found videos of you effing around with your dog, like your boy, your homeboy. But not the dog, the real dog. As I was making my internet version of this FAFO video yesterday with the real belt and the double tap and all that stuff that I do for those videos, I had one dog on my foot, a Yorkie. I had my terrier over on the couch. And then I had my other dog, who's kind of a collie mix with some other stuff. Anyway, never once have I looked at any of my dogs and thought to myself, times are kind of hard. It's kind of hard out here on a pimp. Why don't you just back that little doggy booty right on up? Sat on daddy's lap. Sat it on daddy's lap. Is that cherry pie? Not ever, not one time have those thoughts ever crossed my mind. Never have those words come out of my mouth until I was making a video making fun of it yesterday. What kind of sick individual thinks that any of this is okay? And white people, stop doing this. As Pimp C would say, take that monkey crap off, you embarrassing us. Cut that monkey crap out. You're embarrassing us. I get on here and I yap and yell and raise hell with black people about the culture rot in their communities like Jackson all day. And I take some shots for doing it. I catch all kind of hell for telling people water's wet and the sky's blue and urban black culture is rotten. Meanwhile, I got folks that look, well, at least same color as me. I got y'all out here raping dogs and filming yourselves doing it. We got the girl down there in the Pine Belt who did it at least twice. That's what she's been arrested for. One time while she was pregnant. Who would you rather be? Would you rather be the girl whose boyfriend cheated with the dog and recorded it and you're the one that discovered it and called the cops? Or would you rather be the guy that knocked up the girl who recorded herself getting done by the dog at least 2 times? You now have to co-parent with a dog lover. I have nothing else to say after that. I mean, I could say more, but it just speaks for itself. We're going to end the conversation there. There's your FAFO champion of the week, month, year. Hell, we may just stop giving the damn award out after that. I can't fathom anybody else deserving it beyond this fella. Let's take a break. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show with our question of the day. And, of course, we'll read some of your comments on the Mazda Jackson live stream. And, of course, the Ellis Autoplex text line is 769-241-1944. You got any thoughts on this? Hell, we'll open up the phone line, too, 601-879-0002. If you've tuned in for serious political news and reactions to events going on around the world, you may have the wrong show today. But we will talk about some of that stuff in hour 2 with Shaun Yurtkuran as well. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on WYAB. Before we get out of here, we had so much fun the other day, last Friday, talking about your favorite 80s movies that had a sequel. That I kind of thought, and I teased it earlier in the week, I thought, why don't we do your favorite 90s movie? It doesn't have to have a sequel. It can be a sequel. There's no catch to it. There's no caveat. Just, what is your favorite 90s movie? And mine is plain and simple. And I'm going to pull your chats back up on the stream here in a minute. But I can see your live chats over here, so I'll highlight them and put them on the screen individually. What's your favorite 90s movie of all time? Mine is Armageddon. It's a late 90s. I think, when did Armageddon come out? 96, 97, something like that. I don't even have to think twice about it. It is definitely Armageddon. But I am curious when Armageddon came out. Let's ask real quick. When did the movie Armageddon come out?
Let me check that real quick. Armageddon, the big Bruce Willis asteroid flick, came out July 1st, 1998. Here's the classic poster that was...
98. Let's ask this one. My second favorite all-time 90s movie. When did Independence Day, the original, come out?
Got it. Checking Independence Day release date. Independence Day, the original alien invasion epic with Will Smith, hit theaters July 3rd, 1996. They actually started showing it.
So toss up there between Independence Day and Armageddon. They're two of my all-time favorite movies, depending on what day of the week you catch me on. Epic movies. My cousin Kitty just texted in, and she says on the Ellis Autoplex text line, she says her favorite was, where did it go, Kitty? Cruel Intentions. Great movie, by the way. Cruel Intentions is a awesome movie. Oh, man. All right, let's check out the comments here. You guys are killing it already. Strickland, our good buddy, our mod, Justin here, says, Kids. Man, if y'all have not seen Kids, I highly recommend it. I also highly recommend you making your kids see Kids. That movie alone did more to scare me into using condoms than any other thing that I could have ever seen in my life. No ad on TV, no AIDS patients, no anything. What Kids did was show me how easily one skank can bring AIDS into the whole friend circle, or herpes, or whatever else. And when I say skank, I'm not necessarily just talking about a girl. It was a guy in this movie, so women don't get offended. I just mean guys can be skanks too. So that movie right there did more to save my life from potentially fatal sexual encounters than anything else. Than any PSA, anything that I could have ever watched. Great call there. Great call. Let's see here. Spartacus says Basic Instinct. Oh, who doesn't love the old leg cross? The old Sharon Stone leg cross. That's the right movie, isn't it? Basic Instinct, where she crossed her legs and you kind of saw the muff shot. I believe so. Ooh, Little Nicky, our newest moderator. Another great movie. Kind of in the same vein as Kids, just the way it was filmed and kind of that artsy, kind of independent film vibe. Trainspotting. Really good movie. Trainspotting it was filmed over in Europe, if my memory serves me correct, and it was about them all kind of being dope sick on heroin. Is that the right movie, Little Nicky? Let me know. I feel like that is. Jeremy Warren over on X says Shawshank Redemption. Man, you cannot go wrong with a little Shawshank Redemption, can you? And whoever's calling, we do not answer private calls, so if you call the show, be sure to call from your phone number. And we will gladly take your phone call at 601-879-0002. Look, we got to take a break, but we're going to stay live on the live stream, reading some of you guys' comments, and we'll come back for a couple minutes, and then we'll get ready for Shaun Yurtkuran. He'll be zooming in for hour 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show. It's a FAFO Friday on 103.9 WYAB. All right, let's keep a look and see what you guys all are saying about your favorite 90s movie here. We got about 4 minutes. See, I love this kind of topic. I could do this all day. I really could. Let's see. Shane says Jurassic Park. Yeah, Jurassic Park's up on the billboard there. Look at the terrible version of the Scream logo they did. It looks like a bastardized version of the Jurassic Park logo. Hey, look, AI's good, but it ain't perfect. AI's good, but it ain't perfect. Rebel Ray says Forrest Gump. You really can't go wrong with Forrest Gump either, can you? Just an iconic 80s movie. Let me fix one thing real quick. I don't like the way that those are popping up down there. It's covering up my head. Let's try this. That's a little better. That is a little better. All right, let's go back to the chats. So Spartacus says The Last Seduction. I'm not familiar with that one. I am not familiar with that one. Justin up in Tennessee says Days of Thunder. Was that a 90s movie? Or did that come out in the 80s? I guess that came out in the early 90s, didn't it? Yeah, Days of Thunder is absolutely a classic. Spartacus says Die Hard with a Vengeance. Now, Spartacus, you can't have but one favorite movie. Okay, I lied. I had two, didn't I? Yeah, I broke my own rule. So, Little Nicky, Reservoir Dogs. I like it. I got that DVD. They released some special DVDs a few years ago where each guy, Mr. Pink, Mr. Blue, whatever all their, I remember Mr. Pink, where they all had their own special edition DVD of the movie back when people still made DVDs. And I bought one of them. Jeremy says Fight Club holds up today. Fight Club is iconic. It's always going to hold up. And look, I may catch a little kickback for this, but I love Titanic. You know, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. That's a great movie. To that bitch refuses to share the damn pallet with him and just lets him sink for no reason when there was clearly room for both of them on that damn plywood. Breacher says Bad News Bears. Bro, that's hard. That was an 80s movie. Unless there was a remake in the 90s I'm not aware of. Miss Angela says Gladiator. Was that I think that was a 2000s movie, wasn't it? Early 2000s? I mean, great movie nonetheless, but I don't think that was a 90s movie. Let's see here. Spartacus says Die Hard with a Vengeance. Little Nicky says Train Spotting did more for me than Dare ever could. Yeah, that was the same thing with the movie Kids and myself with showing how easy an STD can slip into the friend group. You know, next thing you know, people getting drunk, bumping around, and half dozen people in the same circle got AIDS. Man, it's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying to think about that. Let's see here. Jason Mills says Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs. All right, that is looks like that's all we got right now as far as from the live chat. Anyway, circling back a little bit to the previous topic about the FAFO Championship and the bestiality section of the show. Little Nicky says Denise Frazier. That is the girl's name from down there in the Pine Belt that has the doggy infatuation. And what's really funny is there's somebody that runs a fake Denise Frazier Facebook page, and they've stolen all of her pictures and stuff, and they post constantly, and everybody believes it's actually her. It's mean, but you know what? Fuck her. I mean, at the end of the day, fuck her. You know, she fucks dogs. I don't care about her feelings. We can be mean to her. It's okay. Oh, crap. We're back. All right. Welcome back in to the Clay Edwards Show here live on 103.9 WYAB. Didn't know we were back live there. I'm just running my mouth with a little dead air, I guess. Anyway, we were discussing your favorite 90s movies here on the show. And we got a lot of great ones over in the live chat. Let's check out the LS Autoplex text line and see what we got over there. See if anybody has chimed in. Unknown texture says, you are live today. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I am, man. Somebody says, same person says, I'd like to have some of what Clay's had this morning. It is an energy drink, and just a halfway decent night's sleep. Halfway decent night's sleep will do a lot for you. Unknown texture says, Pulp Fiction. Can't go wrong there. Oh, here's a good one that nobody else has said yet. Point Break, the original Point Break with Patrick Swayze. Great movie. The remake ain't bad either, to be honest with you. Another one they suggested was Heat. Heat is a really good movie. Underrated Al Pacino classic there. Reagankin says Saving Private Ryan. Now, does Saving Private Ryan come out in the 90s or was that early 2000s? He says, if you have to have a favorite Elvis song, then you are not a true fan. You cannot just have one favorite decade movie. Two of mine are Armageddon and Titanic. Yep. I can't argue with that. I truly can't. But if I just had to pick one, and I had to live on an island. People always do if you had one music album and you had to live on an island. And we'll ask this question one day. What would the one album be that you were stuck on an island and you could only listen to one for the rest of your life? We'll have that conversation next Friday. But if I got to pick one, it's Armageddon. But a close two is Independence Day. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Shaun Yurtkuran. I do want to acknowledge this one here real quick. Carrie says, Scent of a Woman. Great movie. Oh, man. I want to read a couple of these real quick. Fallon says Friday. Man, yes, Friday is fantastic. The soundtrack, too. I think it was the sequel had the best soundtrack, like the one with Big Booty Hoes, Hump With It. That was a great soundtrack to that movie. Let's see here. We got one for The Big Lebowski. Great. Justin also says Pulp Fiction, Shawshank Redemption, Wayne's World. Oh, Wayne's World. Okay, now come on now. You're just fucking with me now here, aren't you? 2 Up, 3 and 4 and 1 says the Brady movie. What about the Brady List? I was told the Brady List was very important. All right, I got to get ready for Shaun. This is a great topic. Y'all continue having the conversation. I'll drag Shaun into it as well when he gets in here because he's a big 90s guy as well. One last comment here from Kevin Strahan. He took time to write it, so I'll take time to read it. Says, Shawshank Redemption was a box office flop, but turned out to be an awesome movie with a cult following now. You know, several movies like that. Now, this is a complete comedy, not a serious movie by any means, but one of my all-time favorite comedies that was a box office flop was Waiting. And it's got Ryan Reynolds in it, and they all work at like a TGI Fridays type, Bennigan's type restaurant. It's absolutely hilarious. And I just love not the intro, but the trailer for it. He goes, a movie for anybody who's ever worked at a restaurant or ate at a restaurant. I got that DVD somewhere. I might try to watch that. Another great movie from the early 2000s that I don't think did crap in the theaters, but it's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It's got Jerry O'Connell in it. It's called Buying the Cow. It is one of the funniest movies you will ever watch. Buying the Cow. And it's the whole thing of like, why get married when you can have sex with the girl for free? It's like, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Buying the Cow. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. All right, I got to get ready for Shaun. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on the Clay Edwards Show today. Let's see here. Walk. And, of course, Acme Pizza is open inside there, so if you want pizza, get a fresh-made pizza on the spot there for you. Now, they only serve them in large, so if you bring an appetite or get ready to take some leftovers home. And we'll tell you about the Airport Trio separately before we get out of here because we're going to talk about that concert tonight a little bit. Let's go to the Mazda Jackson live stream where we've got my good friend and y'all's favorite defense attorney and part-time radio host. We got Mr. Shaun Yurtkuran in the studio, so to say. Shaun, good morning, brother.
Good morning, man. Good morning.
Hey, everything works. I like it.
Yeah.
I could hear your drink or something over there a second ago, so I turned it down. I was like, all right, the mics work. We're good. So
yeah, by the way, this is I think, when we went to the Egg Bowl, I remember I got this for the first time, this Form Energy.
First Form.
Yeah, like First Form, right. And I've been buying cases of the stuff. It's like the best energy drink it's really bad. It's actually cut into my budget quite a bit.
Well, I'm doing the same. I like First Form, but I found another one I like called Rise, RHYSE, or RYH. Anyway, it's Rise spelled a little differently, and they have a cotton candy flavor that is absolutely amphetamines in a can, and zero sugar. So it's healthy, zero sugar.
Are any of these things healthy? Because I was reading about them too, and I'm like, okay, well, this sounds like it's healthy, but it's an energy drink, and now I'm drinking like 4 a day, so I don't know if that's healthy.
I'm at 2 a day is my max. I try to keep it to 1, but sometimes in the afternoons I will hit a second, but I try to keep it to 2. I don't know if they're quote unquote healthy. I know all that caffeine makes it harder to pee, and in my ripe old age, I don't want to spend too much time hovering over the toilet trying to pee. But neither here nor there. Great drinks. Hey, real quick before we get into it, Shaun, I just set up a promo code for the sale on the website. every item on the website, including hoodies, which were already marked down. So I'm going to be losing money on hoodies. 50% off. Promo code Friday till midnight tonight. BuyFAFO.com. That's everything in stock. If it's not in stock, it ain't on sale. If it's not in stock, you can't buy it. So, but anyway, all FAFO shirts, hats, flags, hoodies, everything. 50% off. Promo code Friday. BuyFAFO.com. I want to see some orders today. I got some new, going to be launching some new merch next week. I need to clean out some of the old stuff. Unsold stuff, should I say. All right, Shaun Yurtkuran, big news for you, buddy. So you're starting your new show tomorrow here at 11 a.m. on WYAB. Of course, we'll be streaming worldwide at all your different platforms. Tell people the name of it and the concept.
Yeah, it's called Both Sides of the Bench, which is, as you know, kind of the YouTube channel that I'd started up last summer, I think. And, I was trying to do trial commentary, but now it's turned into, me popping in and out on WYAB a lot more. But the concept really is going to be, it's going to be a discussion of law cases, a lot of local cases, and then a call in. So if people want to call in with their legal questions and ask me stuff that I actually know about, there's some stuff that I don't know about it, and I will be completely honest when I don't know. Like if you ask me anything about child custody, I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. Never practiced it, and there's a reason for that because all my friends that do hate their lives. So I don't know anything about that. But if you anything about criminal law, there's I always see every week there is a new issue that is kind of become the issue du jour locally. I wrote an article this morning and put it on my website about the medical marijuana laws. There was a lot of confusion. I think you and I discussed that, Clay, about whether you could drive with a medical marijuana card, and I want to kind of explain how that worked. Oh, it's going to be stuff like that. People call and ask questions like that.
The marijuana DUI law,
yeah, the marijuana
that Trey Spillman discussed. Man, people got so in their feelings about it. I was talking to Trey about that too. Man, people got all in their feelings about that. I'm like, why did you think it was legal? It's not legal to take your Norcos and drive if you take too many. It's not legal to take your Adderall and drive if you take too many. All of it is, if you're impaired, regardless of what caused the impairment, that's why it's called driving under the influence, not driving under alcohol.
Exactly. It's anything. Your prescription drugs, like you said, marijuana. I mean, alcohol is legal to drink if you're over 21, but you can't drive while you drink too much of it. So it's the same concept. And I think people were just having a very difficult time understanding that. And I guess, because it's new here. I was talking to my sister about it earlier this morning, and she lives in Colorado. In Colorado, everybody's kind of conditioned to that now because it's been legal for, I guess, probably over a decade now, if you can really believe that. But here, I think we're just all kind of working out the kinks, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, I think for so long people have driven high around here, and they didn't get in trouble for it for the most part. I mean, God knows back in the 90s I did. And I used to joke around and say I drove better high than sober. Obviously I was lying to myself, but I used always like my little running joke. And I didn't even like getting high. I was just a follower, not a leader, and would smoke because that's what we did in the 90s, was smoke weed and stuff. And anyway, I was shocked to see so many people just offended at the fact that they couldn't drive high without getting a DUI. I mean, a guy got a ticket on a DUI on a horse the other day somewhere I saw. So you can get, what's his name? George Jones got a DUI on a riding lawnmower before. So
yeah, you can do it. I mean, it's, you can, if you're messed up and you're driving on anything, then, you got a problem, and that's just then that's the law. And I think everybody's going to have to try to get used to it. Poor Trey, though, he took it, man, for just stating the law. I was like, God, he's just telling you what it is.
Yeah.
He didn't, if you have a problem with it, go to your legislator. I mean, and see how to change that. I mean, I'm not saying it's a good idea to change that. I think if you're
it's going to be a fruitless endeavor.
Operate, right. But I mean, if that's what you want to do, but don't blame the prosecutor. He's just enforcing the law. He's helping you out, saying that you can't drive while you're high, which is something you should have probably known anyway. But in case you didn't,
he's not a law enforcement officer. He's not out there giving the tickets. He's not instructing law enforcement to give the tickets. He is just letting you know that there's a rise in these because of, I think it's people just sticking their head in the sand and playing stupid, but I'll be generous this morning and say lack of education about the topic. So,
right.
But Shaun, you've told me before, stupidity is not a criminal defense.
No, it's not. It certainly isn't. If it wasn't, though, we'd have a lot better win record on this side. Unfortunately.
So that article's up on your website. What's your website? OneTextLaw.com.
OneTextLaw.com, and it kind of explains all that. And I put it on LinkedIn this morning also. But yeah, I think that's it kind of tacks off something I was thinking about yesterday. We have and this kind of it relates a little bit to what went on I know it seems like a million years ago what went on in Minnesota with Renee Good, and I think that people need to understand that holding court on the side of the road is not a good idea. That's why you hire somebody like me or whoever else to help you out down the line. We've got a justice system that is generally pretty efficient. I know at times it's not, as we've seen in Jackson and with the current struggles, I'll be kind, of the district attorney, but generally it is, and that's why you hire lawyers to handle that. You're never going to win a case on the side of the road. You're just not going to win it, and it's better just to wait until the court process plays out.
So you mean to tell me? Because now, Shaun, I had it on good authority from a lot of whistleblowers and First Amendment auditors and citizens of Jackson that all you had to do now is just tell the cop you want to see a supervisor.
Is that the rule?
They're rolling their windows up and they're just saying, I want to see a supervisor. I'm not getting out the car. And now, just so we understand that is not allowed. That is called not complying, correct?
Yeah, that's the failure to comply, which I have represent several people charged with that. It's people think they're going to argue their way out of a situation, even if there's plenty of times that you get pulled over and you're in the right. And that happens, but you're never going to be in the right there. You're just not going to be in the right there. You have to wait your time. And I think I don't know that anybody that's ever won a case on the side of the road. And if you have, though, I'd like to hire you for my firm because that's impressive.
Absolutely. Look, Shaun, let's do this. Let's just go ahead and take our first break. Stay on schedule here. When we come back, I should have told you I wanted to do this. Maybe you read the description of the podcast today or the show today or not. I don't know. But I want to circle back to a conversation you and I had privately or on the phone last week about, or maybe it was this week, about this dang Brady-Giglio thing. And I just want, I'm not trying to drag you in anything. I just want you as a former prosecutor and a current defense attorney.
I found it pretty interesting when you brought it up. Actually, I'd love to talk about it.
I want you to explain to people how irrelevant this is in the context that these people are trying to push it in, but your honest opinion, not me trying to force an opinion on you. So we got Shaun Yurtkuran, former 10-year Hinds County assistant DA, prosecutor, the last man to get a successful death penalty conviction in Hinds County, and a current criminal defense and very successful criminal defense attorney here in Central Mississippi. Shaun Yurtkuran here with me. He's starting a brand new show tomorrow that'll be every Saturday right here on WYAB, 103.9 WYAB at 11 a.m. to noon. It's uninterrupted, no commercials. Shaun bought the whole hour, so to say. And so you'll be able to listen to it uninterrupted, no commercials. And, of course, it'll be the podcast will be available. The live stream will be available at both sides of the bench on YouTube. Where at on Facebook?
It'll be on my law firm Facebook page.
Yurtkuran Law Firm?
Yurtkuran Law Firm, yeah.
All right, cool. We'll get all those links shared. If y'all follow me on social, I'm going to be helping to promote it big time over this weekend. Make sure y'all can find it everywhere. But so just set your reminders. Tomorrow, 11 a.m., you can call into the show or get up in the live stream and ask him legal questions, non-family law legal questions as well. And he'll do his best to answer them for you, or he'll tell you he doesn't know. He's not going to tell you something he doesn't know about, and that's the sign of a good, honest person right there. We'll be right back with Shaun Yurtkuran inside the Men's Health and Women's Wellness in Mississippi studios. This is the Clay Edwards Show, and it is at FAFO Friday in Central Mississippi. Get a deal or two down the road somehow. Now, that's just me winging it here. I'm just telling you it works. Trust me. All right, let's get back to it. That's CypressPointResortMS.com. CypressPointResortMS.com. Buy tickets today. All right, Shaun Yurtkuran. Sorry. I get passionate talking about these charitable things, man.
No, that sounded. What's a snake wrangling rodeo?
The snake grabbing rodeo, man. They do it up in. There's a big lake up in North Mississippi. They do it at, and it is exactly what it said. It's a snake grabbing rodeo, and it's awesome event. I haven't been to it yet. I've seen the pictures. I'm really thinking about going this year.
Sounds fun.
It's a blast. It's a big event. My daughters have been a couple years. Jimmy and them do a heck of a job with it. and they raise, don't quote me on this, I think that they've been raising the last couple of years, now that they've had this second fundraiser, about $250,000 for these local people that are in need. So it's a big time thing, and it's great people. You ain't got to worry about the CEOs of these charities taking some big pay. I don't think they get a penny of any of this. At 100% of it goes to the people that the money's raised for. So you can't go wrong there.
It's awesome.
No cut of it's going to GoFundMe or any of that. It is money raised through private silent auctions and real auctions and sponsorships and all of that, and ticketed events and everything. So there's no fee going to, like I said, to GoFundMe or anything. 100% of it's going to the people in need. Gotta love it.
That's awesome.
Shaun,
yep.
Let's jump into it. This Brady-Giglio List that has been so popular around here by a couple people, claiming that they're adding law enforcement to it. They're adding judges to it. They're adding all these people to this list. Anytime I think about people adding folks to a list, it feels very Nazi-esque to me. It really does. I'm not a fan of it at all. But on a serious note, I asked you about this. I'm like, well, if anybody would be familiar with this Brady list, it would be Shaun, having been a 10-year prosecutor and now a seasoned criminal defense attorney. Surely you would have questioned, because you have to call police as witnesses a lot in criminal cases, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's when I was at the DA's office, sure, we worked hand in. That's why I know all the cops around here, because we worked hand in hand for years. And
so have you ever called one that had been giglioed and you couldn't use him?
Never in my entire, in Hinds County in 10 years. And I was the Attorney General's office after that. And then I went to the Yazoo Humphreys Holmes DA's office and worked there. And that's never happened to me where there's been an officer on a giglio. Maybe to other prosecutors, that's never happened to me. Now, I mean, I know what, the distinction we were discussing about what Brady-o and what giglio are, and I'm going to try to say this as simply as I can. Brady is a Supreme Court case and giglio is a Supreme Court case, United States Supreme Courts.
Kind of like Roe versus Wade. They're the case that is referenced for this example.
That's exactly correct. And it's, the U.S. Supreme Court is called Brady versus Maryland, which is different than Giglio. Brady says basically you have to turn over exculpatory evidence, which is, evidence that tends to prove innocence, but that the state has to do that if they have it, right? So that's the Brady versus Maryland case. If I as a prosecutor have evidence that tends to show that's exculpatory towards the defendant, then I got to turn it over. I can't hide it.
So that would just in the case alone, that would have nothing to do with somebody feeling like a cop illegally arrested them.
No, that would fall, I guess you could say that would fall more under Giglio, and that would be evidence that could impeach the credibility of a witness, which are the two different cases. Now, Brady's got a component, and I'm not going to do a law professor thing here, but Brady's got a component of that. Giglio speaks to that more. I don't know about, would you on a Giglio situation turn over if somebody has made a complaint against an officer? I don't know that that's going to necessarily, I mean, it could be. It depends on what the veracity of it was. It
would almost have to be criminal at that point, in my opinion, to completely Giglio an officer over a complaint. Now, it's one thing. Now, I was told on this Giglio side that if the judge presiding over a trial decides that law enforcement officer bold-faced lied in his court, that he could Giglio them or whatever. But wouldn't that be the same thing as basically perjury and him find him in contempt also?
Yeah, I mean, I think you would have to. And God, perjury is really hard to prove. I've never seen it in practice like that happened, but I'm just thinking theoretically. Yeah, I would think that's what you'd have to go through some sort of process. I don't know that the judge would be like, "You're Giglioed." What would seem to me the procedure would be that the officer would be proven that they perjured themselves.
Yeah.
Then once they were prosecuted for that, I assume, and then they would be added to, that would be in their record. So because a lot of times what the Giglio list references stuff like disciplinary notes, internal investigations materials, things like that, and I mean, let's be honest here, if a cop gets on the stand and lies about the investigation they were involved in, and it's unfavorable to the defendant, I assume that's what it would be, then I don't know that they're going to get another job as a cop. I mean, I just don't know that that's going to happen. That would be very difficult for like, okay, well, let me call, Officer Schmuckatelli over here who lied in, State versus Smith, and he tried to, convict the defendant and wrongfully. Like, I just don't know that guy's going to be employable. Like, I think that'd be pretty hard.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It's just that it's got to be very difficult. And Shaun, I've been saying this, speaking of these guys in particular here, this is a grift, is what this is. Mm-hmm. The guy that runs the national Brady list is making $100 a person for these people to add whatever cop has wronged them to this list. And it's bogus. It doesn't do anything. They try to use it as a threat to law enforcement. Oh, I'm going to Brady list you. I'm going to Giglio you. When you have we as citizens have no power to Giglio. Now, if you want to start a list, and I don't have a problem with there being a database, a citizen-ran database of law enforcement officers that they claim are dirty. But my recommendation for that would be allow that officer and the other people to tell their side of the story as well. Don't just put one side up there. Like if you're gonna charge somebody to put all this law enforcement officer's information up there, then you have to by default allow that officer that law enforcement agency to put their information up there defending themselves as well. So it's not just one side of the story. You have both sides of the bench up there, so to say.
I think I would say like how, if you look at that, like how operatively that would work, because how many people complaining about cops? Tons, right? Like all the time. I mean, even when I was a prosecutor, I got complaints. The defendants sent us letters and they sue us. And I mean, for nothing. It's just a lot of it's 99, I'll say almost 100% of it is usually, at least when it was regarding me or my fellow coworkers, was ridiculous, and I think, obviously for the police, it's a similar situation. Now, I'm not saying there aren't incidents, obviously, when there's police misconduct, but a lot of these folks just make these complaints. So just because somebody makes some baseless complaint and it's filed somewhere, I don't believe that would be something you would turn over on Giglio. Like just let's just say that like somebody just made up a complete story, which happens all the time, by the way. That has to be turned over to the defense and used in a trial. Like, I think I don't know how that's coming into evidence, some claim like now, if there was an investigation and some of it was proven or whatever, and there's some kind of disciplinary actions taken on the police officer, then yes, I think that would be relevant. But in just random complaints from citizens that, come up, I mean, cause God bless, let's just be honest, Clay. I mean, folks make stuff up about cops quite a bit. They just do. I mean, it's not, I mean, it's not, I mean, sometimes it could be true. I'm not saying that's not, but I think the majority of the time they're not based in real facts.
So you have a name for this. You call it the man of 1,000 coincidences. And, and I'll tell people what that means real quick. Then we got to go to break. Is when Shaun was a prosecutor, they would always be, well, he wasn't here. It's this coincidence or this reason. And Shaun's like, man, it's just like the most unluckiest guy in the world. It's just the man of 1,000 coincidences, when usually it just means he's guilty as hell and lying. And how I tie that back into this is plain and simple. It must be the unluckiest man in the world that every interaction he's had with a law enforcement officer has been that cop picking on him and he didn't do nothing wrong. Now, if you just had one incident with an officer, just one, I'm more likely to believe that was a bad incident. But if you've had 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 incidents and you claim they're all just them picking on you, you're lying. The odds of every engagement you've had with a cop being a negative one, and of course by negative I mean you not complying. That's really what it boils down to. You're in a relationship
with somebody, and every person you date, you say they're crazy. You meet someone that says that, they're like, oh, that person was crazy, and that person was crazy. Well, there's a pattern there. A little bit. Maybe you're the crazy one.
Well, just looking at these people who are running all this stuff, social media and their Facebook lives and all of the stuff they're doing, it's clear that they are in fact the crazy ones. Shaun, I appreciate you clearing that up for me, man. I wanted to put that out there from somebody who's literally been on both sides of the bench and just saying that, this is not a real thing in law enforcement circles at the end of the day.
I mean, just real quickly, like if I had an officer like that, and that's a good example, Clay, is this, and I know Mark Furman in the OJ trial. Now, there were issues with Furman that they knew that the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office did know about and did disclose to the defense. And there was a big dispute about whether to call him as a witness at all. And Christopher Darden actually did not want to. Marcia Clark did. And it was as you can see, it was a massive mistake. And I think that may be the decision that actually, caught, other than I know we see the glove didn't fit and all that stuff. But that decision to call Mark Furman as a witness, I think it destroyed that entire case.
Real quick before the break, like 10 seconds here. When was the Brady and Giglio verdicts? When were those cases heard before the Supreme Court? Before OJ or after?
Yeah, before. 1963 is Brady and 72 is Giglio.
That tells me all I need to know. We'll be right back with Shaun Yurtkuran. We're going to shift gears into some more national topics such as Pam Bondi getting fired and more. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the Cliff. How about El Patrio for lunch today? Either location, Crossgates or Flowwood at Dogwood. Let's go back to Shaun Yurtkuran. OneTextLaw.com. Shaun is starting a brand new show here on WYAB tomorrow. The Both Sides of the Bench show with host Shaun Yurtkuran. He'll be discussing the biggest cases of the week from a legal perspective. Not the biggest cases, but the biggest stories of the week from a legal perspective. And he's just giving his personal opinion on them. But he'll also be taking calls and texts and whatnot with your legal questions, your law questions, non-family law questions.
I mean, you can ask them, and I'll give you like a urban legend answer.
Yeah,
but that's about all I know.
Shaun, just yay or nay? Do you like the 50-50 custody law?
Actually, yes. I think it's this is one observation I will make about this. So I feel like the divorce, the way the laws are written, I do know generally what about family law, but it just costs people money when they get like a ton of money when they get divorced. And to me, a lot of that seems really unfair. So like what I mean by that is like, now we're in the society where it's kind of like we've gone to this 1 week on, 1 week off. And I understand the arguments about that being possibly detrimental to the children. And that does, that is concerning. But I think from a legal perspective, they have to kind of look at it like what's in a fairness. And instead of like, billing one side for trying to obtain custody, at least you start off on equal footing, and I guess you can fight off from there. But the biggest issue to me, really, I was thinking about this the other day, was we need to have the kind of irreconcilable differences divorce where one party can file instead of getting the consent of the other party. I think that is just amazingly ridiculous that someone can trap you in a marriage that you want out of.
I was trapped into mine, cost me, and it was a irreconcilable or mutual or whatever, but she would not sign. I gave her one car. She wrecked it before the divorce was final. I had to give her a second car to make her go away. And still, 4 years later, the idiot's doing podcasts talking about me and all kind of stuff, which it is what it is. But, somebody's off in rehab. I should be able to get a divorce.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it seems to me that the government, right, when we're talking about, and this seems to be like, I don't know why it's not a conservative position. It should be, it sounds like to me, where while the government is involved in your actual relationship to extent of the relationship. And what I mean by that is it needs to be involved for the support of minor children and property distribution. And that's it to me. Like, that's the only thing the government should be involved in, the support of minor children and property. When I mean assets, that kind of thing, not just like real property. So I think those are the two things that government should be involved in, and that's what the court should get involved in that. But like, your relationship, staying in a personal relationship with another human being should be up to you or me or whoever else. And that's why I don't understand why the government has ever been involved in that aspect of it. No,
I mean, it's like after you two have, whether it's gone through the court system or not, if you were no longer living in the same house and the other person, and you're not getting back with that person, and you want to start a relationship with somebody else, you should be able to do that before the ink is dry on a divorce without that being considered having an affair.
Right. I mean, it's it seems like to be in the more conservative states, they're against that. Like here, we were trying to pass it not this session, but the session before, or maybe the session before that. And there's just all this talk about, when I remember reading that, is we don't want to make it easier to get out of marriages, but should the government be involved in telling you how to sustain your personal relationship? I just don't think that's the government's business.
Well, see, I was under the impression, and I understand what you're saying, and I don't doubt that at all. But I think there was also a big push from the lawyers down at the Capitol that this was going to be terrible for lawyers if we did that. And
sure, it would be right. Yeah, there's a bunch that probably hate me for saying this. I'm just being honest, but from an economic perspective, terrible for lawyers.
Yeah,
and, that'd be like me saying, "Hey, I want you to legalize drugs," even though I think it's probably the right thing. Because if you did, that would cut into my business.
Sure. Well,
unfortunately,
well, certain things are legalized. Some things are always going to be illegal. The black market's always going to be illegal. And most people are going to take the black market route. Like, I'd be willing to bet that even with the legalization of medical marijuana in Mississippi, that the black market business is still way bigger than the legal business.
Because it's way cheaper on the black market. Marijuana
Exactly.
is way, way cheaper.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Shaun, we got like a minute or two left here. What I know we both called in the Lindsay show simultaneously yesterday on this Pam Bondi thing, and a little bit more information has come out on it. Like, she may have been revealing some information to old Fang Fang's boyfriend. What's his name? The guy from California, Eric Swalwell, whatever.
Oh, really? I didn't read that.
Yeah,
okay.
Apparently she had been leaking some information to Eric Swalwell. What exactly? I'm not sure, but that if that's true, not only should she be fired, she should be criminally investigated. But of course, getting the DOJ to criminally investigate anybody in politics seems to be an impossible mission if their last name's not Trump. So I doubt anything will happen.
I did read that the president had wanted to get rid of her for quite a while. But the problem that he had with it is that he has a really personal fondness for her. He likes her a lot. They're friends. He does. I think she's done a lot for him too in the past before he was before he was president the second time. So I think it was kind of hard for him to do that. But what he felt that she wasn't doing the job effectively like he wanted. And I said this I think on social media yesterday. The one thing I'll say about President Trump is a lot of people like to throw good money after bad, as they say, right? At least people are like, oh, he's always fired. At least he'll cut his losses. I mean, I'm okay with that, because a lot of people just don't they're just like, oh, let's just keep on keeping on, and it's not working. Well, if something's not working for you and you're the boss, then you need to move on.
Yeah, and I think a part of it too, I think one of the reasons why he maybe held on a little long is he's now fired two people, both women. And there's this myth about Trump doesn't support women, Trump hates women, even though he's got more women in his cabinet than I think any other president in history does.
Susie Wiles basically runs the whole, she's got that chief of staff is almost the most powerful position in government, they say sometimes. So,
and he's also got Tulsi, and there were some online rumors yesterday that maybe Tulsi's next. I think that would be a terrible move. I think
Megyn Kelly said that last night.
I trust nothing she says.
Yeah.
I trust
I'm just saying that's who I heard it from.
Claws out. Mm-hmm. All right, Shaun, thank you, brother. Y'all tune in tomorrow.
Yep.
11 a.m. I'll be sharing on social all his platforms, but you can find it at Both Sides of the Bench on YouTube and Shaun Yurtkuran Law on Facebook. But really, just tune in to WYAB tomorrow at 103.9 FM WYAB at 11 a.m. every Saturday, starting tomorrow for Shaun Yurtkuran's new show. We'll be right back to land the plane for the day. All right, guys. I do appreciate everybody tuning in today. That's weird. I don't know why the screen is still up there. Let's do this. All right. I appreciate everybody. Great show. I thought it was a great show today, but, obviously I'm biased. I think every show is a great show. The radio station owner always asks, how was the show today? I was like, well, it was great. It was my show. Why wouldn't it be? Of course it was a great show. Greatest show ever. Every day we just keep raising the bar. Man, look, thank you all again for allowing me to get to do this for a living. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I truly am. And I don't take a single day for granted that I get to come and stare into a computer screen and into a microphone and out a window and talk shit for 2 hours a day, and I get to call that a job. Now, a lot more work goes into it than just that, but nonetheless, I am the most appreciative person that you'll ever run across for the opportunity that you guys allow me or allot me, or however you say that, to be able to get to do this for a living. And we're going to start giving back more and more and more to you guys. I've got a stack of concert tickets that I bought myself. I didn't get them for free. I bought myself for some giveaways coming up here in the next couple of months at the Brandon Amphitheater. I got a stack of Black Crowes, Whiskey Myers tickets, and I'm working on some others. We're going to be doing some cool stuff for you guys exclusively. I just set up a 50% off on all merch for you guys. Use the promo code Friday. I'm losing money on everything I'm selling at 50% off because I don't mark it up that much. Losing money to sell merch. That sale ends at midnight tonight. Buy FAFO.com. Just use the promo code Friday for 50% off. That's hoodies. That's everything. So just me saying thank you to y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the opportunity that you've presented me. And I legitimately, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. I love the opportunity that you presented me. And again, I do not take it for granted. Thank y'all very much. I will see y'all back here, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise Monday morning. Oh, moving forward, Monday's back to just being a 2-hour show. 2-hour show on Mondays. The third hour, our good friend here, Matt Bishop, wanted a show again on WYAB once a week. And if I couldn't have every day be 3 hours, I didn't want just one day being 3 hours. So I'm bringing my show back to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, which helps me out a lot because I'll be honest with y'all, on Sundays, having to do show prep for 3 hours was kind of a pain in the ass. Sunday's like the one day I like to do as little as possible. And it was the day I was having to do as much as possible because of getting ready to do 3 hours of radio. So anyway, with all that said, the show quality won't get any worse, I promise. It will just be more action-packed inside 2 hours. I will see you guys Monday. Stickered. Little Nikki, thank y'all for modding this party. And thank you for everybody who dropped a chat, dropped a live chat, dropped a comment, a share, a heart, all that stuff. Peace.